Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel.
Oh, good. That's going to come through real clear for everybody. And welcome back to Endless. Amabel goes to Forex School, where Amabel can't just do the job like a normal in a normal way. We're back after like a considerable. It's been quite a while since the last one, because Amabel got injured in a way that was not good for recording.
That is true.
So we are back. We're a little. I have spent a little bit of time just kind of like digging around, trying to remind myself where we are on everything here. I know that the general thrust of it is we're working toward unlocking access to the obelisk of all space-time, which we will then construct several of, at least like 3 or 4 copies, I think, in order to win the game. In order to do so, we will, of course, have to, first of all, acquire some orichalcics. The fact that we have no orichalcics income at all is problematic. Secondly, we're going to have to, probably bump up the adamantium production a little bit. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, we're in the middle of a war with Horatio. We're technically at war with I almost called them the Nephilim. What is the name of your faction, lady?
What do you want with
Nakalim. The Nakalim.
the Nakalim?
Yeah.
They haven't really done anything yet, though. Right?
They're distressed, though.
There was a brief interaction, and then not a lot has happened. They have a lot of scout ships around, so they've been sort of like soft blockading our systems more by accident than anything else. Yeah, I don't know, weird stuff. So we are at the moment pressing pretty hard on an orichalcics containing system that is currently owned by the Horatio. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to get this in the very near future. And overall, we're we're doing pretty well as far as overall territory goes. Hey, Amabel.
Yeah.
Let's bust some stuff up here. Okay, we got some open
That
slots.
makes me feel good.
Boy,
I'm trying to do the job. I want to object to the characterization that I can't do the job normally.
I didn't say you can't. I said you were choosing not to. Sorry, if I was unclear, let me clarify.
And to be clear, I wasn't really given training.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
I'm learning this on the job.
Not even a little bit. And you are all shtick all the time, and you're not, but it's hard to tell when you're not. A person could be forgiven for thinking that you are all shtick all the time, and that's challenging is all. All right, over here we just colonized, and so things are a little messy over here. We're just sort of putting this one together. All of the planets here are hot. Most of them are sterile, and that's not necessarily a great mix for the Lumeris, just kind of in general.
Hot and sterile does work for me, though, even though I do have less shtick. Sorry.
It's just there's no escaping it. It's just there's no way out.
So, is there a way to make them? Can we change these? Can we terraforming is a thing, right?
Terraforming is a thing, and we do have some terraformation technology. We didn't dig into it as deeply as one might. There's a lot of terraforming technologies sort of spread throughout the spread all throughout the tree, and to such a degree that I don't know where they all are even. You can see here you need climate engineering to be able to put planets into the fertile part of the wheel. There's a whole, there's 12 different types, right? So you need a lot of different technologies, and we have some of the terraforming techs, but not all of them. And
I guess I should ask, maybe it's something we've covered before, but the obelisk of all space-time, is that the only... what kind of victory is that? Is that the only thing on the tech tree that, here's a victory condition?
Well, that's a wonder victory. We talked about this before.
Gotcha. We did.
There is a science victory that is available by researching these corner technologies that require access from... Yeah. as well as, the other ones. Supremacy, conquest, score, which is not a real victory type. Economy, your alliance must generate. So once you're allied with people, the values change a little bit. It's no longer unlike in Endless Legend. It's not like if one member of the alliance wins the game via doing whatever they would have done to win the game by themselves, then the other people are just kind of dragged along. You can see if we look at Wonder here, as a solo player, we would have to build 3 or 4 obelisks of space-time to win. As an alliance of 2 players, if we can get 5 between the 2 of us, we'll win. The fact is, it's very unlikely we'll be able to get our AI partner to participate in the building of the obelisks. So what's going to happen is we're going to get some obelisks built, and then we're going to break the alliance.
So I have another question about that screen that we just saw. You don't need to go back to it though.
Too late. I've already done it.
Oh, all right. Well, so when you hovered over the Wonder Victory thing, it said build the Victory Wonder a certain number of times to win, and then and it specifies the opposite space time in the progress thing. But so are there other Victory Wonders that change from game to game?
No.
Okay.
The Victory Wonder.
Okay. That's not how I would. Okay.
That's how English works.
Oh.
Baby.
Sure.
Baby.
But I would just say obelisk of all space time in both of those sentences.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I would.
I do not remember what we were doing with these ships. Is there a reason that these were fleeted the way they're fleeted? It's like these are the ships.
Reason?
The ships around Artemis. I remember why they're built the way they're built. Right, this is our bombardment fleet, and this is our actual combat fleet. Here we have a full fleet that's just frigates, which I was probably gonna send to Kraz. Right, like we gotta look out for these Knuckleum. I don't know. Let's send them up to Kraz. The frigates move real fast, so we put a lot of engines on them. I really do like the ship design stuff. I really think it is cool to be able to like build and customize your own units, and I like, I like it in Endless Legend, of course. I like it in the terrestrial 4Xs that let you do it, but I think it's one of the things that is like one of the core draws of the Space 4X is the ship construction stuff. So while we were not paying attention, it looks like Horatio moved some ships into this area. He's got a couple of mediums now here, along with a hero to guide them. Although, I gotta say, overall, still not that impressive of a fleet. I think we're gonna press them. Yeah, I think we're gonna, I'm engaging.
I think you're very engaged.
You actually don't get to just hang out here. If you want to have ships here, you got to fight me for it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to retreat. I would retreat. They fought. Hold on a second.
We didn't get to see it.
Well, there's a button. Would you?
Okay.
Okay, so we did lose. It looks like we lost an entire flotilla there. We lost the flotilla that's made up entirely of little garbage ships that we keep up at the top of the thing. So we can see here how these flight paths are maybe not so conducive to that flotilla surviving. It's like an optimal bombard angle for all of their ships. Also, something's going on with the missile guide systems. But yeah, so basically we had a bunch of like little crappy ships that we had gotten from the minor factions and stuff up here, and they all ate it. A lot of our ships were just kind of out of range to participate meaningfully in the battle, which is a shame. And so they have survivors. But it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad outcome for them. And it's 2200 science for us, thanks to our various tactics and laws and whatnot. We are for sure going to immediately engage them again at the start of the next turn here. So, do I want to? You know what? Scythe has a. Forget. Oh, right. We can't launch ships from Scythe right now because it's blacked out. That's annoying. I'm gonna start moving these other crummy ships that we got from our secondary or our minor factions over there to reinforce. But also, Artemis's ground defenses are basically pulverized. So after this next round of combat, I think we're gonna hit the ground and probably take control of this system immediately. And It looks like every place is building things that are important to build. Yeah, a lot of good work is being done here. Leaning in real hard on things that produce science. Okay. So we've reached this part of the game. You were talking about this just a little bit before we sat down. We've reached this part of the game where it really does feel like things have slowed down an awful lot. Let me just make sure that that combat gets engaged there before they have a chance to move away. We're doing a lot of waiting. There's a lot of sort of incrementalism in the games, the design of these games as a whole.
Yeah.
But we've hit a point here where it really is just a lot of like, we have a general direction and now we're waiting for bars to fill.
Yeah, and it's very. It feels a lot more prominent, the waiting and the incrementalism.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
Because like, if it was just a thing where. Because it's not just that it's incremental or we're waiting to implement things. It's that, we have spent 12 minutes doing one turn. And yeah, maybe like 9 minutes of that was my shtick, but there's still 3 minutes of just kind of wading through all these accumulated micro decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was a bit more automatic, it was a bit more, okay, this turn we're just continuing to do this thing and we'll come to the next turn. There weren't so many prompts for our attention that I don't think that incrementalism would feel as exhausting.
I see what you're saying. I gotta figure out, we have a trading company subsidiary slot still open.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little silly to build it on Scorpius because it's so close to the headquarters, but we also just don't have a lot of places to. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna do it here. Let's just knock it out real fast. They don't all have to be incredibly powerful companies.
This is something I think about a lot, with game design, because I generally don't design games that have 102 turns.
Yeah,
but because of the form factor of making board games. But I do have some games I've done where like the turns are a lot more incremental, but then those turns are very, very short. Oh, it's a fight. Can we see the fight?
yeah. So
Yay.
This is gonna be a because there are fewer command points involved in this fight in total. We're getting some restrictions on the flotilla design. You can't run 3 flotillas until your fleet is complicated enough to have a total of at least 10 command points in it. So they did destroy just enough to get us down to 2, but we destroyed enough command points on them for them to only have 1. So we know everything they're running is going to be in the center lane. So I do think we're just going to send everybody send both the big ships right down the middle here.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're going to get our optimal damage. They're running straight. Yeah, it's just like hurling our ships at each other. And they have moved in more ships from their capital. I'm actually, I think, going to end up regretting having moved those frigates up to potentially play defense from the Knuckleum, because I think we want them over here. And they'll get back down here relatively quickly. but I'm going to wish they were just down here the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
Now that we're actually in combat here, we can slow things down a little bit. So I do think we're going to end up losing this frigate. But we are also going to win this battle without question. I wish you could give more complicated orders, you know, but like that's part of the magic of a system like this is you kind of have to just like set your people to it and hope that you did a good enough job in the overall design phases that the things work out the way they need to work out. In particular, look at this. He's got a lot of bullet weapons on his ships now. So he's doing a good job defending against our longer range missile ships, just kind of by accident. Just because you put enough bullets in the sky, you get effectively, you know, free flat cannons out of it.
Yeah, I really like this system.
The combat system I think is really a really strong aspect of the game.
It's a strong point, yeah. And we talked about this earlier when you first showed me some combats several episodes ago. That it feels of a piece with like the way a naval battle, like a terrestrial naval battle should be modeled.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions about the ways that they are modeled, particularly analog games, but I won't get into that right now. But so it makes sense to me the way it's done, and the ship designs are so cool, and being able to customize those, like that is I don't want to undersell how much I feel like that's a tremendous achievement. I'm very impressed.
So when you say the ship designs are so cool, are you saying like the
ability to the modularity of it and the way that's taken into account with this, what is basically a model? Because like again, you are dictating some kind of broad behaviors and starting positions, and then you know there's these inputs being put into this machine, and then you just watch the machine go, and that's something I find really fascinating generally. That really intersects more with I have a lot of interest in 0-player games, which not everyone thinks are cool, and it kind of in a way is a 0-player game. You are seeding it. You have like the seed for these behaviors, this procedural thing, and then you're watching it play out, and that's really captivating for me. So having that be the center of this combat system, this combat model, that's really cool. That's really cool. I like that a lot. That is maybe one of my favorite. There's a lot of things I like about this. I want to be clear about that. It's just, it feels. I wish all this cool stuff, the node to node line movement, the way that is kind of, in terms of scale, less fidgety than the terrestrial hex-based stuff. I like that a lot in theory. I feel like implementation-wise, there's still too much of these notifications, these little decisions, and these little things taking your time that I feel like should be more streamlined.
Yeah. So it is going to take a couple turns for our frigates to make it back to this side. They frustratingly moved in a big ship after we finished fighting them for the turn. And so we weren't allowed to make our ground attack because they had ships in place. And you can only launch the ground forces if there's nobody preventing you from launching the ground forces, you know?
Yeah.
So we have done a horrible amount of damage. Just truly awful things being done over here as far as their ground defenses, but we can't actually make much benefit out of it until we can punch through. And for that, we are waiting for those other ships to get back. Or, you know, for the blackout to end over here, which will certainly help. We have this one ship. Looks like they have some unexplored curiosities. There's a quest going on that we are. I don't even know what quest this is that we're playing in. What quests are currently running?
There's means of production.
Oh, there's this thing, right? The photo bomber. I was trying to figure out like what is generating all these points of interest on the planets that don't actually have anything in them, and this is what it is. We're investigating the marked curiosities for traces of the Banksy of terrorism or this shit that's not part of the job, you know?
Yeah.
Things I should not be doing. Okay, strange tidings. There is also this. Get your explorers out there, figure out what's happening before the weapon ends up pointed at you. Okay, so there's a curiosity here related to this quest that we don't have a high enough expedition power to even investigate. This caravel was sent over here presumably for a reason. Why were we moving this to Ova? Here's a problem. This happened months ago. This happened like weeks and weeks ago, right? I don't have any idea why we did this. Because Ova doesn't need a scout ship right now. Maybe there was some anomaly that wasn't explored yet, and it made sense at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, we can have the ship hang out here and just, receive repairs from being in friendly airspace for a bit. Actually, can I, if we disband it down into the garage, it looks like it doesn't get repaired any faster. Okay, well, in any case, sit down there, because that ship is actually fairly damaged.
maybe that was why.
Probably not. That is not the way I generally deal with a damaged scout, is what I will say.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to wait a couple of turns while those ships return. It is in theory possible for the Nakalim to attack us up here, but we have stuff. We have stuff building. If they did come out of nowhere, they wouldn't be able to do damage quickly enough to prevent the ships that we're building now from being able to defend us. So we're just gonna stay in place and be problems. I definitely want to prevent their defensive manpower from replenishing. Yup. That's definitely a reasonable number of things to happen at the beginning of a turn.
Endless space.
Okay, so they have this great big behemoth ship here. 43,000 health. Not really a lot of firepower on it for that much ship, but because we have basically like a badly damaged frigate and a bunch of minor faction boats here, like we can't really fight it either. Oh, it left for some reason. Maybe they realized what was coming. They were like, actually, yeah, fuck this. So, do we want yeah, let's do a preemptive bombing here. Let's hopefully just knock this out. I saw the Decide Artemis's Fate screen load up already, so we do win the battle. Yep, that preemptive bombing is fairly successful. And we're gonna have to take this over, obviously. We did destroy their miners' union, which sucks. We need production of resources.
We need a strong union.
Well, and obviously always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we will be occupying the system for sure. Okay, and all of a sudden, it's not really important that our all of a sudden, it doesn't matter that our ships be over here. We probably want to turn them around again. I don't know. I guess the war's not over, right? In theory.
Yeah.
Here, we'll build something that gives approval. In theory, we could end up having to fight Horatio for this if we don't, seal the deal. Speaking of sealing the deal, as far as Horatio goes,
Yeah, why is he still around? Like,
is this his
so
last?
annoying.
Is this his last system?
The most perfect.
If I were to,
Horatio.
okay, you have the ability to trade Corona to me. So that's Corona there. So he has these two systems then. He has his home system and then one that he can trade to us. So we might just eliminate him entirely from the game, honestly.
Okay.
That might be where we're at. Because
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, he's been annoying. Like, I know there are other factions we've had dealings with, but he's the one that sticks in my mind because he's just been so annoying, both mechanically and, like, I hate the voice that they have for him. The tone of voice.
Which
the
is to say that they very successfully chose a voice that communicates the vibe they're going for.
Oh yeah, no. To be clear, it's a phenomenal work. I want him gone so bad.
Okay, so their military behemoth is at us. Here it comes. It looks like it is a largely bullet-based ship. Looking at that combination of projectile energy balance and the overall range accuracy.
Yeah. He's got to do more dodge rolls. You'll be fine.
Just never stop. Never stop doing the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know. We're not going to destroy it. It has way too much health. So I'm debating here how I want to do this in general. I think what we might do is like play really far back, keep our frigate far away from it.
Okay.
This reduces the damage on percentage of damage applied is spread on the ships, the other ships of the flotilla. So like this is reducing our weapon modules, but flotilla collateral damage inflicted on weapon modules. So bonus flotilla collateral damage inflicted. Percentage of the damage applied is spread on the other ships of the flotilla. So this isn't really like this bonus allows you to do damage to a lot of ships compressed into one flotilla. It's not really very relevant here. But I just kind of want to keep people back, and we don't actually have a lot of tactics for that generally because we tend to play very forward. I'm going to take collateral damage, even though we don't really get any benefit out of the bonus, just because I'm trying to play back. He's going to be in much worse shape against the group of frigates that are approaching now.
Okay.
They will be here next turn. So this is just like how many ships are we going to lose to the behemoth? Which, as you can see, is like appropriately named. It's a big old boat.
It's a big ship. Yeah.
If we come down here, yeah.
What a big guy.
And again, a lot of our smaller ships are missile based, and they're going to do effectively no damage to this thing because of how many ballistic weapons it has on it.
I like how tall it is.
It is going to this flotilla is going to end up behind it really quickly though, which is nice because these ships are going to sustain essentially no damage, including our one existing frigate. Yeah, and you can see it doesn't really have much firepower.
Yeah.
2176 offensive power is not for a thing that is as big as that is kind of embarrassing. The 6 ships we have together here, which again is 1 frigate and then 3 ships that we got from the minor factions, has about the same total firepower. I don't know what's going on with his military behemoth, but it's not very well set for combat. All right, we're going to hold Scythe with our ship that can now finally be launched from the docks. For some reason, Horatio has a scout ship headed in that direction. That's not going to happen. He fled in shame, it looks like. His ship is just gone. By the time we got out of the battle, it was just gone. We had a hacking op get discovered by a... It's weird to say we had a hacking op get discovered by a node on Artemis, considering that we own Artemis. But, you know, that wasn't true at the beginning of the turn. And this is Vega. What did I hack? I hacked... Okay, we hacked that. So... I think we're going to just embed some sleepers among their population for now. Just kind of a little bit of information warfare. Because I want to see what they're doing over there. They sure are building a lot of, like, crummy little scout ships and stuff. As far as we can tell, this is the only thing this player really has ever done. All we've ever seen from them is lots of little scout ships. It's weird. Some strange is happening. Oh yeah, that's right. We do now because we completed that hack. Have a hacking operation. I mean, let's just continue fucking with their border until such time as something occurs. There's a like I hear what you're saying, like a 12-minute turn, and then we're like half an hour into this video, and how much has happened, right? There is a temptation to just like click real fast and like let's just get stuff.
We hail your rational leadership.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it certainly wouldn't be ideal to just ignore all this stuff and mash through, right?
Yeah. I mean, can I confess something to you, which may be a bit more appropriate for the other series we're on? But, you know, because I played NetHack a lot, but I've never beaten NetHack, because at a certain point, going through NetHack, I get a little bored or overwhelmed with how much stuff is going on, and then I'm just not paying as much attention to it and not thinking as carefully. So it is important to fight that impulse to just blitz through stuff, because, yeah, you can, because this is the thing. This is all these little minor things taking your attention, but if you ignore all of them,
yeah,
it's
they're adding up to what is the gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this dude came back.
All right.
He came back to fight us. We got a turn of repairs in there. I think it looks like our ships are in better shape. I don't know. It's gonna be the same battle, is the thing, right?
All right.
So I'm just gonna do the same thing. We're not gonna watch it because it's gonna be the same battle. Yeah, this time the ship's in the middle, finished dying, but his ship is considerably below half HP now. And the big group of frigates has arrived. All right, we ran his ship off. I would love for there to only be one war going on right now. If we could get out of this war and focus on the other war, that would be good for us, ideally. Like, but we only have so much control over it, you know. If he wants to be a huge pain in the ass, there's just kind of to deal. So continue pushing science. Like it's a problem of science and industry, basically. Actually, these are probably the other way around because we want to get access to that. First of all, this system needs places to put population, and secondly, we need access to that resource deposit. Because we need to research quickly enough to get the ability to build the big, scary building, and then we need the industry necessary to actually put it together. Over here on Zorak, sadly, we have no strategic resources. Whose big idea was that? This system is not that happy. Let us build a well-being foundation. Building on cultural inverdicts theory, the Well-Being Foundation can raise population approval levels by organizing and promoting public events that will reflect well on the system leadership. This capacity to shape public opinion scales with the sophistication of the system, as cultural resonance effects between higher and lower order pursuits can be employed. I like the way that the text gets more menacing. Everything, the more powerful you become as a player, the more everything you do is kind of like, I don't know if this is a good, like, should we be doing this? You know?
And I gotta say, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah,
Because
it's a good cool design.
One of my criticisms of like Civ is like it doesn't seem to really be as aware that Empire is bad. Actually,
I might say that
I was trying to be polite about it.
I might suggest that the people who are making that game don't believe that, actually.
They don't believe
that Empire is bad.
Okay. Because
just based on the things about the design of Civ.
Yeah.
As long as you're using a sufficiently American liberal definition of the word empire, I think they're not necessarily against it.
I will say this though, what I kind of wish we did have in this endless space game were rock bands.
Right?
Space rock bands?
How much good could they be doing?
Sweetheart, have I told you about Lila Cheney?
To some extent, that is what the influence represents, right? Is your ability to apply cultural pressure. Is this something that has to do with the video game? Because if not, then
no.
Okay.
It has to do with the X-Men. I'm sorry.
We can't just get into everything that has to do with the X-Men.
We never get into the X-Men.
We don't. Okay, it doesn't not happen. Now, come on.
I'm excited about the return of Punch Clops.
The return of Punch Clops? Is that what?
Nothing.
Do you remember what we're doing? Okay, so now his dumbass military vessel showed up again, and he's like, "Rawr, let's fight." But this time we have ships. This time he has fucked up. And we decisively crush him in battle, because of course we do. And now that he's lost his behemoth, we're gonna just bring those ships back down to his capital. What?
So I understand we don't have time to watch every fight, but I want to see the big ship blow up.
It's literally just the same as the other.
But that ship is bigger.
Amabel, you can only complain so much about the slowdowns and the if you're actively campaigning for things to happen slower. You understand? You know what I mean?
I contain multitudes. Very well, I contradict myself.
I'm trying to go toward the part where we have won the game. Because the fact is, we've kind of won the game already. It's just a matter of playing out the streak here. I don't want to overstate it, right? But it is very difficult. Like you've seen how this war is going.
Yeah.
You've seen the Nakalim declared war on me, and they are in theory a large and powerful faction that is like reasonably they could be a viable opponent, right? And you have seen what the war amounts to.
Yeah.
This is a huge problem that this game has, is that the AI factions are just not, in addition to being kind of like not very good at the game overall, what they are not more than anything is aggressive enough.
And I will also say that I've also seen, because we've watched a game of Civ and a few games of Endless Legend besides this, and like I think within the 4X genre, there is I'm going to identify it as a quality, not as a qualitative judgment thing, but a quality rather than just saying it's a problem. But like, when you have won the game, you have won the game so many turns before the game is over.
Yes, yeah. That is for sure a thing of this genre.
Do you feel like that is also true? And I know you probably don't have as much experience with actual multiplayer games within the genre compared to single player ones, but like in a multiplayer game with human opponents, is there more of a possibility for a comeback once you reach that point, or is it still pretty locked in by the math of the thing?
There can be significant lock-in, yeah. Like it absolutely can be the case. The there are more handles for a human player to turn to try to get back in to some degree. A lot of these games have some significant amount of, like, as much as they are games about self-reinforcing loops, and thus the get there first advantage is huge. There are also games about there are also significant catch-up systems built into some of them, and I don't have as much multiplayer experience, but I don't think, and you absolutely can, to be clear, you absolutely can kind of get locked out of a game, but I don't think that it's the way things are always going to go.
Okay.
What is this? We did Developer of Talent. We are the first people to unlock a 3rd level population collection bonus. So that's having 50 units of the same population type. So we've obtained the Citadel of Demography, which gives us bonus diplomatic pressure. Kinda again, one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Is that good? Is it good that we're doing that? All right, up here in the northern part of our empire, we got so much stuff going on. Let's build. We do want more trade company headquarters. I guess, like, Idris would be the place to do that. It's Deki and Wyrix that are currently trying to build things. Yeah. So, like, if we did this here, we can just save up and rush this with dust. We're at the point in the game where we're buying a lot of stuff out. Zvodyani fleets are accidentally, again, just like scout fleets accidentally blockading me because there's just a lot of ships in the world. Hey, buddy. Fuck off. Also, it's super weird that there's like this long think time on actions like that, where it's just like there should just be a fuck off button.
Yeah.
When I engage with one of my large ships against one of your small ships, there's no reason that there has to be mutual decision making on that. I have the fuck off button. It's happening over here too, in exactly this. It's actually the same ship. It just retreated from here to there. Did we have spare ship? No, we don't have any spare ships around here anymore. Just an annoyance is what it is. Well, you know what? The large ship can make that trip in one turn, actually. We'll just attack again at the beginning of the next turn, and hopefully that ship will cease to exist. So we'll make this a subsidiary. It's basically every planet in our empire is going to be either a trade company headquarters or a trade company subsidiary in short order. And we're just running maximum trade all over the place. This is a great system for AI labor. We still need to figure out how to inhabit this kind of world. Technologically, we have a lot of things yet to work on. But critically, we have attained the top. We got developer of talent because we unlocked the ability to have it. We had been at 50 of our main population for some time. So we have access to the top level researches here. Big bonuses to happiness and food output and stuff. But honestly, like, massive amounts of food are kind of not even that valuable in this game because of the planetary population caps. Like, you've seen, a lot of our systems are pop capped or close to pop capped. And it's just kind of like, what are we gonna do with all this food? You know, we did gain some.
Throw it at some zombies.
We gained some law slots here. We can run a more complicated government, and we have gained the ability to build the obelisks, although we do not actually have the resources to do so.
I made a very funny joke, and
I bet that's
I'm upset.
not right. That doesn't seem correct to me.
Because you're like, we're at the pop cap, and what are we gonna do with all this food? And I said they should fight zombies. Because Plants vs. Zombies, it was pop cap. Was it that?
It was pop cap who did that.
I shall defend the.
I did a computer's joke.
That is a computer's joke.
Reward, please.
Okay, so we have. Are you focusing? We have some harassment here from Horatio bringing in what's left of his navy to pick at us while we're weak. We might legitimately lose this battle,
You should watch it then.
but I'm not going to run from it. We won, actually.
Says draw.
The biggest problem, I mean, we won in the sense that we didn't lose.
Okay.
Which is really bad for him because we have this frigate. We have these frigates right here. Because now that he's committed himself to the node.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
Also, I feel like I've been decently focused this time.
How many times have I had to ask you whether you are focusing?
Less than usual. I've had insightful commentary.
All I'm saying is if I have to ask, that's usually not a good sign. Okay, so we have another law slot open. Our overall approval levels look really high though, right? There are individual systems where it's not true. Obviously, they don't care for us on Artemis right now. They're coming around. They'll come around. But overall, we're mostly pretty happy. So I don't know that I feel that we need to use this on a happiness law.
Okay. Wait, what's the Senator Bob Act?
In order to improve the communication and level of involvement of all citizens in their government, a new technology platform is put into place that will aid all voters to contact and interact with their representatives. While it won't exactly turn the being in the street into a senator, it does make them much happier with their government.
Okay. Okay.
None of this stuff is really, like, super good. I guess this'll help push, like, we do have some systems where they're not outputting their largest possible amount of resources. And the at this point the influence cost of running a law like that is pretty minimal. All right, I'm just gonna mash this attack button so this guy doesn't get to leave before getting engaged upon. It would be nice if there was some automation available, like if you could like right click on the button at the end of the turn to make sure that to set it into immediate attack mode so that the computer launches the attack for you at the beginning of the next available moment or something like that. Mostly what we're doing here is just like running off what remains of Horatio's like ragged little navy. He did retreat when we attacked with our frigates here, and it lost him the large ship, but he got that one hero vessel away, so he's still got like basically a single space fighter. It's like the end of Star Wars where Darth Vader fucks off out of the battle in his lone TIE fighter, and it's like, well, we didn't get them all. It is just one TIE fighter, but also it is Darth Vader, and it's like it's not great. It's not awesome that happened.
Hot take: Darth Vader sucks.
I don't
He's a
know.
bad dude. He's a bad dude.
Oh, you mean like as a person? You mean
Yeah, no, he
like-
sucks.
okay? Like,
No, I'm not.
like
no,
he's not a good guy. Okay,
not a good guy.
I'll come with you on that one. And then obviously here we're just blowing up that ship so that we don't have to deal with that ship anymore. Hey, Blue, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of my territory. This is being annoying. We hit a new population bonus for the nearest. It's true, we did. More ecologist pressure on the government. At this point, we have so many sources of pressure on our government in pushing it in so many directions that it's very difficult to untangle all that, or really even, I don't want to say it's difficult to care about it, but I do a little bit mean that, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
stuff's gonna happen. Whatever's gonna happen is what's gonna happen, and that's that. Let's unlock some autonomous mining, or maybe power armor, protective and operational wild environment readiness armor, which helps people mine strategic resources faster and harder.
I was about to say that sounds like the name of an Image comic, but really it's more like a Mirage comic. It's not great.
Because here, at this point, what we're waiting for is the resources necessary to start building these things.
Right.
They each cost 40 quadronics. This is gonna, or Oracal 6. This is gonna be our bottleneck, is the Oracal 6. And unfortunately, there's not very much on the. I spent the last turn researching the marketplace technologies. There is essentially no Oracal 6 on the market. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are not technologically advanced enough to be able to mine it.
Hospitality is appreciated.
My man here has one. You have systems that have it, though, right? He's got at least one. So one thing we can definitely do is trade the technology to him,
Yeah.
and then we can trade the stuff off of him. Yeah, let's see about that. Wrong buttons here.
Welcome. How may
Buddy.
the Riftborn be of service this time?
I was just thinking that wouldn't it be great if you knew how to do your goddamn job? I don't know actually, it looks like he does have the technology because it's not on the list of tradables. So yeah, he does have it. He just doesn't have, he's using his Oracal 6, I guess. Which is
Rude.
cruelty beyond belief.
Yeah.
Hey, would you just give me that system? Can we talk about that? No, it's a tough sell. Gosh, yeah, this is a little frustrating because he's probably just not going to be into it. He's not going to be like, sure, have one of my profitable 20 population systems. It's fine. So we did get a notification a couple turns ago. I do want to point this out. A conquest notification saying that our alliance is close to winning the game via conquest, which means that we hit half of the goal. We're a mere 20 systems away, Amabel.
Oh wow.
It could happen at any moment. And who knows? Maybe that ends up being faster, honestly, than the obelisks.
You know, I do have a question about the score victory.
Yeah.
The one that's not a real victory, because you said that for other games as well, for Civ. Have you ever experienced winning a score victory or losing to someone winning a score victory?
No, I think you would have to be playing. You would have to be doing it on purpose, right? Playing to avoid all victory conditions and force all other players to also avoid all victory conditions. Because there's just no way that a game's going to last long enough to get to the turn timer otherwise. And that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, right? But these games are designed such that it will be the case. There's no, there's not one of these games where the turn timer is tight enough that it is realistic that you will hit the end game before even an easy AI would, get some kind of victory.
Now the turn timer is adjustable though, right? For some of these games?
No, not generally.
No. Okay.
Or if it is, I'm sorry, are you going somewhere with this? Because
no,
if that was the question, the actual question is it doesn't matter whether it's adjustable or not, right?
No, I'm being a student and asking questions.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm saying because it. Okay, all right. If you could.
Okay.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to say there are reasons that you might be asking.
Well, I don't know what those would be. I'm curious at the moment. Is basically I'm just asking a question out of curiosity.
Yeah, if you were going somewhere with it, then we could have a talk about technically it's possible in these games but not in those games or whatever. But for the most part, the actual answer is it doesn't matter because nobody's ever going to get close to a turn timer.
Okay.
It may as well not exist. It's just it's just a failsafe to make sure that the game doesn't run forever if something breaks or whatever. And honestly, it probably doesn't need to exist for that purpose either. All right, so we're waiting on defense bombardments to finish over here. The ships around Artemis are weak but strong enough to hold off anything the Horatio have left. We have a couple of large carrier-type ships up galactic north, ready to deal with anything the Nakalim might try to bring against us. What is this? Man, what are you doing? He has launched a couple of ships into the air. He thought he was doing some, cloaks, something. They can't stop popping new notifications long enough for me to, see the result of a battle or... All right, let's ground battle. Let's preemptive bombing. We're not going to watch this. There we go. We got him. We should probably take control of this because it is a home system.
Okay.
And it is in theory possible that we could win the game by just taking everybody's home. Gain control of Libra. Okay, cool. I don't care what the church thinks about what I'm doing. Just like in real life. All right, some events are coming to an end. Hacking ops were detected, but whatever. There's a lot of but whatever going on at this point in the game.
I like that they abbreviate the word point as POIN period. That's really funny.
I did not see where that was.
I think it was on a hero level up screen. I'm
here?
Yeah, available skill point in the upper left.
That's points. Thank you. They abbreviated 2 characters off by using 1 character. That's a savings, technically.
There's sure. There's a more standard way to abbreviate points.
Yeah, but that's not programmatic. They've got a generally designed system that exists for the purpose of abbreviating letters off of things, right? And then they're just using that.
I just haven't seen it before now because I would really love if this mission, if this quest was the Misa Productio. That'd be great for me personally. So you're paying attention.
I
I
didn't
saw
say,
that before you did.
I didn't say you weren't paying attention. I said you're not using the fact that you're paying attention for good.
All right, that's fair. We have fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm teasing you, but I hope you know. I hope you know.
I know.
Okay. What are we doing with this system? I mean, we gotta make sure we're pumping industry in most of our systems. Gonna buy out that trade company headquarters, like we said we were going to earlier. Or we don't need to make sure we're pumping industry in most of our systems. We need to be pumping industry in the systems that we're going to build the obelisks in, obviously.
Okay.
At this point, though, it is worth considering, like, is the obelisk thing still the fastest way to do this? Because we can win the game via supremacy victory by controlling all of the major factions' home systems. And this number hasn't updated yet because this number updates at the beginning of the turn. But we're at 3 out of 6 now, having taken Horatio's home.
Okay.
The Knuckleim went to war with us, and we absolutely can, if they don't show us more of a military than we have been shown so far, we absolutely can just go straight to Warden and set it on fire, right?
Okay. So I guess my
Nair,
question is...
Nair, it turns out, is right here.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe like there's a version of this that maybe is actually what we do is we just win a couple of wars real fast because it ends up being less total time.
But what is real fast in terms of endless space? Because this Horatio war has been going on forever for us. So, like...
I mean, like, it hasn't, though. We won this war really fast. If you're thinking about this Horatio war as the total of our interactions with Horatio since the beginning of the game, that's one thing. But like since the last declaration of war, from the time when we were doing like border pressure pushes around Zorak to the time when he lost his home, it's actually not very many turns.
So how much of a pivot is it to pivot towards this kind of military victory? Like are you just gonna
it isn't
not try
like
to build obelisks at all?
No,
Or are you
we
trying
probably still do it.
Okay.
Whatever. You know. Like
Well, I wasn't sure how
because like the thing is
how
we
much
already
the
are
resources-
building the largest ships that you could build, and right.
Okay.
Part of that is the fact that the large ship designs are in the same quadrant of the tree as the obelisk is. We're just sort of like it's actually a very easy conversion.
All right.
Let's try to get some more planets here so these systems can keep growing. We finally got the research necessary to expand on the steppes planets. I stole it from another player. Yeah, we have a lot of places where we can build things. A lot of places where we need to build things. All right, contentedness is a little bit low here. We're just gonna keep pressing buildings. Corana should go down really quickly, and then I think that's actually Horatio removed from the game. And we can stop getting his Beldar ass head showing up on our vid monitors. Going, I have something snooty to say about you. So yeah, like you can see here, we have what I would consider to be a fairly serious combat force just hanging out around Kraz kind of incidentally. It's not that hard to run it to Warden and... Okay, some quest has failed. Whatever. So some quest that was not going to affect whether or not we are winning this game has failed, and so... Here we want to let these guys sit for like 1-2 turns. These ships, on the other hand, honestly, I'm gonna leave this. You know, we got this ship for free. This medium ship, and it's kind of terrible, honestly. Yeah, look at that. 150 offense. What is this ship for? Unfortunately, because we can't, you don't get a design card for, like, you can't just go in and press edit on a ship.
Mm-hmm.
We can't fix it. I can't like redesign it or anything. So not only can we not make it better, we also can't actually look at its modules and figure out if there's some kind of clever purpose to its design. So it's just sort of whatever. It's just sort of like a bad. We just got a crummy ship over here. I don't. Do we sell it? It doesn't sell for anything either. They just gave us a garbage boat. Well, I'm gonna redirect here. Let me split the Squire off because the frigate has those big beautiful engines that we built into it. And these two ships, I guess, can hang out together. They're bad and slow together. Teamwork. You're in guard mode. Just take care of this area. All right. So we have a number of systems where, like, until it is time to build obelisks, we don't have a lot of obvious work to do. Total resource outputs here are pretty high. I guess, like, this is a good system. This is our home system here. Is a good system to build these, like, overall stat increasing wonders on. Although Kraz also makes a pretty good spot for that kind of thing. You know, happiness still needs a push here. We have plenty of happiness buildings. See, our overall Empire happiness was looking really, really good. And then we had several events end that were all giving bonus happiness. And I had just forgotten that they were running because of the big break between episodes. So all of a sudden, happiness is not so high everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it is, no, not that. It is worth adjusting our approval levels in a lot of these systems. Again, mostly while we wait for more meaningful builds. Get out of here, Horatio, with your scout ship. Alright, one more turn of siege on Corona. We'll be in good shape, yet Libra is still... We're suffering population loss in the places where approval is super low. Because people are not, they're protesting by not producing food, and then they're starving to death because they're not producing food.
Huh.
It's a way to be. It's a thing you are certainly allowed to do. I can't get down there and stop you. I've tried. Alright, Zorak is not actually a very good system. Oh, a single Horatio ship has been produced. He's trying. He's trying so hard to build like a couple of mediums. He's just trying to cobble a couple of mediums together so he can do defense. One of the dangerous things about a system like this that has no star lanes is that ships can't retreat through the warp. Like you have to have an open line to retreat along. So if you get caught in a place like this, you're just the battle happens. You're just fucked. Which is what we are seeing happen to poor Horatio. sort of over and over again here. Let's see here. Scorpius has... I mean, it has some sterile worlds. Yeah, the AI labor is probably still pretty decent here. Also... It's probably not the most important place to put a big influence bonus. Like you can see, Scorpius's influence bubble is entirely within Kraz's. Kraz's influence bubble is the overwhelming shape here. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do that plan. Like either we should, maybe I should just build another siege fleet. Honestly. It probably makes sense to do so. I was gonna say what we're gonna do here is like wait for this siege fleet to be done, but first of all, our current siege quote unquote fleet is only 7 command points. So it really could be a lot more of this ship design. So what we should probably do is like build 11 more command points of that ship somewhere, and then send those ships to Warden, backed up by these large ones, and then, you know, just knock that out and merge up with the 7 that we have down here for a push galactic westward that finishes off the other players. And so this is like the we talked about this a little bit at the in the Civ games. Where like with a lot of 4X games, if the ending positions aren't tuned to be particularly tight, what ends up happening is the systems aren't like kind of separated a little bit. What happens is you aren't really building toward a particular victory type so much as you are building general capability. And then you just select, once you have enough general capability, you select the victory type that you think will be fastest from that moment.
Yeah.
Which is literally what I'm doing out loud here, right?
Yeah.
All right, decide Chronos Fate. I don't actually want this system, I don't think. I am gonna burn this shit down. Our people will not like this. Minus 15 approval on systems for 5 turns, and then they'll forget about it. I don't want anybody to have it. Is the important thing. No me, no Horatio. Okay, this is Kraz. Like I said, maybe the time has come to produce 11 command points worth of this ship. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, it will take 6 turns to produce that many ships. These guys are coming home. It'll take 12 turns just for the current siege ships to get back to Kraz. And I do believe that should be the end of Horatio. I think we're going to hit end turn here and see if we get a message about his defeat. I don't know where else he could have stuff. If he is still in the game, he's got like a system tucked away in the same way like we have Aova that's way over here. If somebody were to wipe us out, they would almost certainly not know about Aova. Okay, well, whatever. I mean, it's good enough for me. You wanna truce there, buddy?
This brings more worry than joy. Horatio, do not trust you.
Motherfucker, do you have 56,000 dust? I mean, I sent the offer.
Horatio accept.
He did. He has 56,000 dust. Bitch, buy spaceships. Why did you let me do that to you while you had all that money? What? I don't know what to make of that. That is frankly baffling.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just stop me? It seems like he could have just stopped me. All right. Well, here's some news. Now notice that 56,000 sounds like a lot of money. It is not an insane amount of money to build the technology that we just researched that gives you extra strategic production. We'd have to pay 84,000 dust. So it's a lot. It's not like the entire universe, but he definitely could have done something with it. I am going to hurry on some of this stuff. The system is, it's recovering. The microwave pipes will be worthwhile. Okay, we just revolutionized Artemis with that money. Once it stops bleeding population, we'll be in really good shape over here. Okay, and I think that is probably a good place to stop for the episode. Horatio's still in the game somewhere. I have no idea where. The important thing is we took his home system, and there's no way he's ever going to like show up again. There's no way back into the game for him. I think the plan probably is we're going to keep playing like we need to build these obelisks. We have now enough Orichalcics to start building one of the obelisks. But we're going to also go after everybody's capitals and see if we can win that way faster. And we'll just have ourselves a little race to keep things interesting. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. I think that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, the race begins. Feel free to put your bets in the comments below, and we'll see you then.